Welcome all of you. Today we shall be discussing about one research matrix called the H-index. H-index is an author level matrix, that is, it is used to define the productivity of a scientist in its specific research areas. Earlier we discussed about the research matrix called H-index. H-index is a journal level matrix, that is impact factor is a journal level matrix and it is used to define the quality of a journal. Similarly, H-index is an author level matrix and it is used to define or indicate the quality of a researcher. That means quality of a research of the researches being conducted by a scientist. One practical example uses of H-index we can see here in a Google Scholar profile. In any Google Scholar profile, suppose this is the Google Scholar profile of Pratabjyoti Hentik, the Vice Chancellor of Guwahati University. In any Google Scholar profile, to the top right corner here, you will find this kind of statistics. That means this author have received all total of 626 citations and his H-index is 14. This is available to any Google Scholar profile. Suppose this is the Google Scholar profile of C.N.R. Rao, who is a Bharat Ratna awardee scientist. His H-index, if you see, is 155 and his total citation is above 1 lakh. Similarly, this is Google Scholar profile of Krishnamurti Subramanian, the Chief Economic Advisor of Government of India. His total citation is 2024 and his H-index is 12. This H-index represents the quality of the researches being conducted by a scientist. Today we shall be discussing about how to calculate this H-index, how it came to existence. H-index is a author level research matrix and it was introduced by this fellow gentleman called J.E. Hirsch. It was introduced in the year 2005. H-index or Hirsch index is one such author level matrix. Like impact factor, H-index also includes citation and publication, both during the calculation process. So, before introducing the H-index, Hirsch made two assumptions. Assumption A was that a good scientist or a good researcher conducts research and they publish papers, and if those papers published by a scientist are of good quality, then they will receive citations. That means publication and citation both were included here. And this assumption A was thought to be representation of a quantity. That means quantity of research being conducted by a scientist. And assumption B represents the quality. That means what type of research is being conducted by a scientist. Both this assumption A and B was equivalent to quantity and quality, and Hirsch combined these two, quantity and quality, into one number called as the H-index. Now, before going to understand the calculation process of H-index, I request all of you to concentrate on this slide here. Suppose there is a scientist A who have all total of 8 publications, and his total citation is 253, these 8 papers. But if you look at here, his paper 1 have got almost 90% of his total citation, that is 230, but his other papers have not received equal amount of citations. That means the scientist have published one good paper, but other papers are of not good quality, even though his total citation is 253. But here is scientist B, who has published 7 papers, but on an average these papers are receiving some good citations over the time. Even though his total citation is 184 and it is less than scientist A, but looking at this publication and citation count, we can say that scientist B is able to maintain his quality of research because overall his papers are continuously being cited by other scientists. But for scientist A, only one paper have received good number of citations, but others have not been able to receive such citations. So, this continuity of quality that a scientist is able to continue or not in his research area is being tried to be evaluated through the H index. The definition of H index here is that a scientist has H index H if each of his or her NP papers have at least H citations each and the other NP minus H papers have not more than H citations each. For simplifying this definition, let us look at this example. For calculating the H index, what we have to do is that we have to rearrange the papers in order of decreasing order of citation count. Suppose a scientist have published total 9 papers and we have arranged these 9 papers based on the citation count. Paper 1 have received 40 citations, paper 2 30, so on like this. Now for this scientist here, his H index will be 6 because paper number have 6 has 8 citations but paper number 7 have 5 citations. That is, the scientist have minimum of 6 such papers where each of them have got minimum of 6 citations each. Here paper number 6 have 8 citations. That means up to paper 6 the scientist have minimum of 6 citations. But at paper 7 doesn't have 7 citations. It has only 5 citations. So till now paper 6 have received 8 citations, so his H index will be 6. When his paper number 7 will receive 7 citations, his H index will become 7. So this is how this H index of the scientist will be. Graphically, this H index is represented as this. If we plot the paper numbers in the x-axis and the citation count in y-axis, there will be a certain point here where his number of papers will equal to number of citations. This point will be identified as his H index. It is very easy to understandable. Now, if you have understood this H index calculation process, I request all of you to complete this assignment here to calculate the H index from this following table. Here we have chronologically based on the decreasing order of citation, we have rearranged these papers. The scientists have total 5 papers and this is the citation count. You have to calculate what will be the H index of this scientist based on this table. I shall be putting a link to give the answer of this assignment. You have to just answer the H index in your answer area in the Google Classroom.